Hi, my name is Vincent. I recently had the honor of translating Tulku Thondup's book, The Heart of Unconditional Love. And having made a little video in French to present this important work, I thought perhaps I should do the same for my English-speaking friends. So, the great Tibetan master and scholar Tulku Thondup was born in Golok in eastern Tibet. At the age of 5, his life changed completely when he was recognized as the reincarnation of a famous and highly accomplished adept affiliated with the Drupchen monastery. Thus, Tulku Thondup grew up near some remarkable masters of wisdom and compassion. And he was trained in one of the great spiritual institutions of the country. In 1958, he was barely 20 years old, I think. He fled to Tibet to settle in India, where he stayed for about 22 years. He taught Tibetan language and literature in great Indian universities. In the 80s, he moved to Cambridge, Massachusetts, as a visiting scholar at Harvard. He still lives in Cambridge, living a simple life. He wrote numerous books. He has translated some important classics, and his works are frequently quoted in books on Nyingma Buddhism. This book is the quintessence of his life and work. It brings all the essential points of all vehicles of Buddhism, actually, into a simple, relatable, and understandable practice. It is relevant whether you are new to Buddhism or well-versed. I've also heard some seasoned teachers, such as Samuel Burkholz and Zakilung Rinpoche, recommend this book warmly. It is full of joy, with a focus on appreciation, and it shows that we can be creative on the path of meditation. It shows also that we can always go further and deeper into our understanding and realization of wisdom and compassion. So, to get an idea of the themes, we could look at the title, The Heart of Unconditional Love. What is meant by unconditional love? Well, it is a love that is unbiased, fully open, and radiant. It is unconditional in as much as it does not depend on ordinary concepts and perceptions, such as those of kinship and enmity. Unconditional love is also linked to clarity, as boundless love declutters our view of all biases and prejudices. Unconditional love is both the path and the goal, as it serves as a gateway to access our innate wisdom and fundamental openness. It is also presented as one of the 3 main qualities of Buddhas. Speaking of Buddhas, the practice explained in this book is centered around Avalokiteshvara, or the Buddha of loving kindness, aka the Buddha of compassion. The idea is that we become what we contemplate. The object of our contemplation transforms our mind, which in turn transforms our perception of the world and our experience of the world. So it is a virtuous cycle, if you will. Imagine that you look at a beautiful flower, a simple flower in the garden, you look at it, and you let it bring joy to you. Then this joy can radiate and slowly change the mood around you. Well, usually this does not last. Things are, as we well know, are impermanent, and our mind is fickle. But with some effort, with a meditation practice, and with the right philosophical understanding, we can actually sustain this. And all the more when we choose an object that is not just any ordinary object, but an actual manifestation of enlightened qualities. In this case, a Buddha that has helped countless beings cross the ocean of suffering and illusion. So this simple but profound practice is akin to sunbathing. Our body absorbs the heat and then radiates around us. If we wonder how to do our part in the world, to bring more peace in the world. This is a good place to start. It helps us cultivate loving kindness in ourselves and around us. At this point, we should note that in Buddhism, using a support for our meditation is not idol worship. Buddhism is a non-theistic tradition. And as a non-theistic tradition, our understanding of prayer is fundamentally different from what we find often in theistic traditions or theistic religions. To truly understand this, we need to understand how Buddhism avoids the extremes of both eternalism and nihilism. But the main point here is that this tradition acknowledges our innate wisdom and capacity, and that we are never really or completely separate or independent from the object of our meditation. That's actually a key point. If you want to understand what we mean by eternalism and nihilism, I'll try to put some simple explanations on my website, or better yet, you can probably find the profound explanations of Tinle Norbu Rinpoche, Tinle Norbu. But in any case, you can totally enjoy Tulku Thondup's book, and all of his books actually. If you're a Christian or Jew, or if you come from any other religion or tradition, there's no problem whatsoever. And in fact, we quickly realized that the author has tremendous respect for all spiritual traditions, all lineages of wisdom, and all practices that foster love, tolerance, and understanding. The book contains healing exercises, healing the mind, healing the body. On the one hand, the Buddha said mind is the forerunner of all. Mind influences our speech and actions, and it gives a direction in our life and a direction to our rebirth. And generally speaking, it is mind above all that experiences the world, as we can see by the examples of people who are undergoing tremendous physical pain but remain calm and quite happy, or with the examples of people who are live in abundance in a big mansion with an amazing body and so forth, but are actually quite unhappy and depressed. The fact that the mind is the forerunner of all is not to say that we should neglect the body, however. And Shantideva, a great master author of one of the classics of Mahayana Buddhism, says that we should not be overly concerned with bodily comfort. It makes that point actually makes that point very clear. But he also says that bodhisattvas should not mistreat their body for stupid reasons, because this physical support not only helps us make progress on the spiritual path, but it also allows us to help others. So taking reasonable care of one's body is important, and it's even better if we can learn to heal others, be it just by creating conditions or an atmosphere that fosters relaxation. At the very least, it could be just that, right? So this book contains exercises to heal oneself and others, spiritually, mentally, and to some extent physically as well. And in this regard, it is a great complement to some of the previous books that the author has written. But one of the main themes of this book is not so much health as loving kindness. And here, the way to cultivate unconditional love is through devotion. Now, devotion is a subject that often troubles us in the West, especially if we walked away from a theistic religion. But in fact, as the author brilliantly explains it, there is no reason to think of devotion as something particularly exotic or shocking. I mean, we are all devoted to our work, to our family, to our friends, to our pet projects. Anything we do, if we have to have some sort of fruition, we need to have some devotion, some commitment. We could argue that anything worthwhile starts with openness and appreciation, be it just a spark of it. In any case, devotion in Buddhism should not be limited to personality. it is not so much about the specific styles or accoutrements of a specific teacher. The idea is to feel genuine appreciation for enlightened qualities. The more we learn to recognize and appreciate true wisdom and compassion, the more they inspire us, and the more we embody these qualities. We don't just wake up by sheer osmosis. We actually have to work. We've got a lot of work to do, in fact, but it is a path on which we discover more and more joy, more and more understanding, and more confidence. The author is a living proof of that. So to sum up, this book is a book that is easy to read, very much practice-oriented, and it is about cultivating wisdom, inner strength, and especially unconditional love through the path of devotion and appreciation. It sums up the essential points of all vehicles in a seamless manner, so that wherever you are on the path, you can always find great comfort and insight when you pick it up and read a few pages. So I encourage you to check it out, and I thank you for listening.